Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we'll be learning about the chemical coordination. So those chemicals, we call them as hormones. Now before we enter into the hormones, so if you just look at the structure, we find there are different aspects showing about the plant. So now we have seen there are fruits hanging from the tree. Few are green in color, other in between the yellowish, and the next is red in color. What does it indicate? When do these fruit come down? So there has to be some signal. Anytime the fruit cannot just fall from the tree. Only those fruits which are ripe enough will fall down. What makes them fall? The signal the tree is going to get from where? So this is one point. The secondly, you must have seen the flowers. They remain fresh as such only for a certain period of time. Once that time goes, you can see the flowers are going to wilt or the freshness will not remain further. Again, for that there is a signal. Overall, I can say the entire lifespan of a plant is under the control of one important chemical, plant's hormone. So those hormones which are present only in plants, we give them a special name, phytohormones. What are these hormones? Hormones are the chemical substances. What they do? Just to transfer the message or signal from one part to another part. Now how it does? Now this information is passed on from one source to another through what we call as vascular tissues. What are these vascular tissues? These vascular tissues are xylem and phloem. Xylem helps in conduction of water and mineral from one part of a plant to another part, whereas phloem helps in conduction of food. The next is, once these signals are being transferred from one location to another, is there any way plants can communicate with other cells? The gates through which signal passes, we call them as Plasmodesmata Connections. Even through this, the hormones can be released. It means it spreads within the cells and the neighboring cells can sense those through the Plasmodesmata Connections. Now let's know what are the different types of hormones. We can see this hormones are just like they are required for every aspect of a plant life. Let it be from the seed, right from the sowing of the seeds, how the seeds germinate, when the seed should germinate, what are the requirements, how does a plant know when to start growing, after it grows, when it has to start flowering, once time to form a fruit, and what makes the plant to grow in size, divide further, and finally when the fruit is formed, when the fruit gets ripe, and when that can be dispatched. So once all this life process of a plant occurs, at each and every stage the hormone is going to assist the plant in doing so. So what are hormones? They are chemical messengers. They transfer message from one part where the signals are just released, but the action is seen only at a specific part where this hormone is required. In this sense, not all the cells will have receptors for the hormones to bind. Only those cells, for example, if there has to be growth, the cells or the receptor for the growth will be present at the tip of shoot or root. So only those places the hormone is going to find the receptor, then go bind to it. So very specific. Now we have seen in plants there are different types of hormone. Let's name them one by one. First is auxins, then cytokinins, then you have gibberellins, ethylene, abscisic acid. What are their specific function? For example, auxins. We have seen in stimuli and response in plants in previous session that whenever the plant is kept in open under the sunlight, there is a normal growth. But when we place the plant in such a way that only a part of plant is going to get the light source, whereas the other part is in the shade, complete dark. So what's happening that time? The auxins or the hormones which are required for the growth of the plant, they start moving from the source of the light. So they move from the source where light is falling to a darker side. So now only that part, you can see that only that part where the hormones are concentrated larger number, only that part is going to show growth. So therefore we can see that the plant is bending, showing growth is unequal or unidirectional. Okay, next is cell division. Now it helps in dividing of the cells. So the seeds, the fruits, they will have this sort of cytokinin hormone which will increase the activity of the cell so that more number of cells are formed. It will increase in the size, the width of the cell. Let's move on to the next hormone, ethylene. Now as we had talked in the initial slide, we know that certain fruits, they ripe and they release some smell, and this smell is nothing but the ethylene gas which comes out of the fruit. Generally, you take any ripe fruit, place it between the unripe fruits. So you see all the fruits will be ripe. Why is this happening? Because the gases which are released from the ripe fruit, they diffuse and make even other fruit ripe within the short span of time. So this hormone is required for ripening of fruit. Okay, next, let's move on to gibberellins. So gibberellins will help a seed in germination as well as in flowering of the plant. All this process are the life process of a plant. Signal for the plant or the leaf or even the flower when it has to die or closing of the leaves is given by this hormone abscisic acid. So this will result in falling of the leaves. So we have learnt what are hormones, where they are present, in what amount. They are just present in a very less amount. And different hormones are present. Each and every hormone will have a specific role, and this entire hormone sometimes in combination with other are going to help the plant grow better so they can adapt to different climatic conditions. Hope you have understood. So these are the questions. Thank you.